Fear is an instinctive survival reaction that appears in both humans and animals. It helps the body recognize and respond quickly to danger before reason has time to analyze it. When facing a threat, whether real or imagined, the brain activates the sympathetic nervous system, acting like the body's alarm system. And when you turn that off, you basically become John Wick. To keep up with the times, humans now have 999 different kinds of fears. And here's an explanation of some of them. The source? Of course, it's from the internet. So if anything's wrong, feel free to comment below. Thanatophobia, or the fear of death, affects about 3 to 10% of the population, including me. It's a type of anxiety disorder characterized by an intense and irrational fear of death. This isn't just normal worry. It's an obsession, one that can take over your life, forcing you to avoid any situation or even conversation related to death, like being scared of choking while eating, afraid of getting hit by a car when going outside, or sleeping too deeply and never waking up again. Like what I've seen, women tend to have this more often, probably because men are too busy doing stupid things to be afraid of dying, likely. Necrophobia, it's a branch of the fear of death, an irrational and intense fear of corpses, both human and animal, or of objects and places associated with the dead, such as coffins, cemeteries, or funerals. Except for some specific professions, who isn't afraid of corpses? The way to cure this fear is quite simple. You just have to learn how to plant trees. Megalophobia. About 7% of the population has this, a fear of large objects. People with this phobia are terrified of big things like airplanes, skyscrapers, massive creatures such as whales or dinosaurs, and even monuments like the Statue of Liberty or the Eiffel Tower. Good thing I don't have it, or I'd probably faint every time I look down at my own legs. Automatonophobia is the fear of human-like figures, such as mannequins, robots, wax statues, moving dolls, or even scarecrows with human faces. The cause often comes from the uncanny valley effect, where the brain reacts with discomfort or unease when it sees something that looks almost human, but not quite real. Claustrophobia is the fear of small or enclosed spaces, causing the person to feel panic, suffocation, or dizziness when confined in tight areas such as elevators, windowless rooms, tunnels, subways, or crowded vehicles. Even when they know they're in a safe place, they still can't control the fear. The cause often comes from negative past experiences, like being trapped, locked in, or witnessing someone else panic in a confined space. On the opposite side, there's agoraphobia, the fear of open spaces. I think I have that one too, because every time I look into my wallet, I start sweating, trembling, and sometimes even crying. Mysophobia is the fear of germs, bacteria, or dirt. To be fair, no one likes being dirty, but people with this phobia constantly worry about getting contaminated or infected. They often wash their hands obsessively, avoid touching public surfaces, limit contact with others, and sometimes even refuse to go outside at all. Acrophobia is the fear of heights, one of the most common human phobias. It's not that everyone feels scared when they're up high, but for those with this condition, the fear completely takes over, and they lose all control. Just looking down from a tall building, climbing stairs, stepping into a glass elevator, or even imagining being high up is enough to make them dizzy and weak in the knees. Coulrophobia, the fear of clowns. Interestingly, adults are actually more afraid of clowns than children. Several horror movies have played on this fear, like It, Joker, or Terrifier. And fun fact, it's said that Johnny Depp himself is terrified of clowns. Trypophobia. I read on the internet that quite a lot of people have this phobia, about 15% of the population. People with it feel chills, nausea, goosebumps, or strong anxiety when looking at things with holes, such as honeycombs, sponges, or even soap bubbles. I also found an article saying that the iPhone's camera was criticized by some people with trypophobia. Phasmophobia is the fear of ghosts, commonly seen in children. They often turn off the light and have to run quickly so the ghost won't chase them, then sleep with the blanket covering their whole body because they're afraid something might touch their feet. Interestingly, the more people are afraid of ghosts, the more they like to learn about them and watch horror movies. Nyctophobia, the fear of darkness. People who have this phobia are often also afraid of ghosts because, let's be honest, darkness makes everything scarier. They usually suffer from insomnia, rely heavily on lights to feel safe, and often can't sleep alone. When night falls, they need someone nearby because to them, darkness isn't just the absence of light, it's the presence of everything unknown. Trypanophobia, the fear of needles. Honestly, who isn't scared of those sharp things? I still remember when I was a kid, every time my mom took me to the doctor, as soon as it was time for the injection, it took several nurses to hold my arms, legs, and sometimes even my head And guess what? Nothing's changed since then. Thalassophobia, the fear of the deep sea. People with this phobia feel anxious, dizzy, or even panicked when they look at or think about the vast, dark ocean. It's not just the water, it's the unknown beneath it. Endless depth, strange creatures, and that eerie feeling that something huge might be lurking below. Eisoptrophobia, the fear of seeing the reflection of oneself or others in the mirror. People with this condition may feel anxious, shudder, or panic whenever they face a mirror, even avoiding mirrors entirely. As for me, I'm not afraid of this one because every day I spend hours standing alone in front of the bathroom mirror singing. Zoophobia. Some people fear all animals, while others are only afraid of specific types, such as dogs, snakes, birds, or insects. Among the most common subtypes are Ophidiophobia, the fear of snakes, and Arachnophobia, the fear of spiders. Two primal fears deeply rooted in human evolution. These instincts once helped our ancestors survive in the wild, warning them against venomous creatures or hidden predators. But in modern times, this survival mechanism can turn against us, making even a harmless house spider or a zoo snake behind glass feel terrifyingly close. And those are fears that many people have, and we will quickly go through some very strange fears. Globophobia, the fear of balloons. Some can't even stay in the same room with balloons because they keep imagining that any second now one's gonna explode. Arithmophobia is the fear of numbers. Me when learning math. Anatidaephobia, the fear that somewhere, somehow, a duck is watching you. This isn't recognized as a syndrome, but being stared at by a duck is scary, right? Fear of long words, the name itself is scary. Nomophobia, the fear of not having your phone. It sounds funny, but is actually very common these days. People with this condition will feel anxious, restless, even panic when their phone runs out of battery, loses signal, or is left somewhere. Some people check their phone dozens of times an hour, always needing it next to them to feel safe. Simply put, losing your phone for just 5 minutes can feel like losing connection with the whole world. Ablutophobia, fear of bathing. On average, dirty people. Genophobia, the fear of sex or sexual activity. This fear can develop for many reasons, but let's be real, for some people, it probably started when they had to perform too often and ended up traumatized instead of satisfied. Philophobia, fear of love. My bro after he got cheated on. Pogonophobia, fear of beards. Like fear of clowns, now fear of beards. Chronophobia, the fear of time passing, manifested by constantly watching clocks and calendars, feeling stuck in time. This syndrome is often found in older people because they have little time left, or in people who are in prison. That is the explanation of human fears that I have compiled, and there are many different fears. If you have any fear, please comment below. I am Zap Hello, and see you again.